Man, I'm so tired. I think it's about time I hit the bed.
What do you mean hit the bed? What do you mean hit the bed?
Hey, Zether, we just finished recording your video. I'm kind of tired, man. I'm trying to hit the sack, you know?
You mean to tell me that you
that's
just
enough.
want to go away for another couple of months and not record a video? Dude, your fans have been waiting
that's what
for
everyone
you.
does, right?
You
That's what
disappear
everyone
for like
does.
a month every single... Bro, no. Look. Here's what we're going to do. You're going to get up
What-
and we're
what?
going
What
to
do you want?
record
What do you
another
want?
video and you're going to drop
Another
some
one?
MyHeroAcademia content because
My
I want to
Hero?
watch that. Yes, My Hero.
You want to watch a My Hero video?
I
Okay,
wanna
well,
watch a
it
My
has to
Hero
have
video.
Jujutsu Kaisen then. It's got to be My Hero X Jujutsu Kaisen then, because I've been having fun with that Gojo video. Give me something from Jujutsu Kaisen.
Oh,
X
you
My
know
Hero.
what? You know what? My fans have actually
What?
been requesting that
that?
heavenly
What's that?
restriction dude. What's his name?
Oh, Toji. You mean Toji Fushiguro?
Toji? Okay, yeah. I mean, bro, if you're down, I'm down.
Yeah.
We can make a Toji video.
Okay, what do we call? What are we calling this?
What if Deku was Toji's reincarnation or something like that?
See, I don't like that reincarnation business. How about we hit him with what if Deku had heavenly restriction?
I
Does that sound
like
good?
it. I like it. It's a chef kiss
All
title.
right. Sweet. Perfect, guys. Welcome to today's video. I'll be joined with the illustrious, the most beautiful man on YouTube right now. That is Zether. Say hi to everybody.
Yup. He's joined by me, and I'm here on the channel, so basically it's my channel for the following hour.
That I guess so. Today we're going to be talking about a series idea that Zether and I kind of have been tossing back and forth since I've been kind of watching Jujutsu Kaisen and the manga's ending, and MHA just ended. I was thinking, what if we do a JJK x MHA video together, doing what if Deku had Toji's heavenly restriction?
And
So,
bro,
I'm pretty excited.
I'm not even gonna lie to you guys. We cooked. Like we've only like talked about like the first 20 minutes of it, 15.
Yeah,
and
we just
know
talked a
what
little bit
we're
about
gonna
his
do.
backstory.
Yeah,
so
it's
gonna
gonna
be fun.
be pretty sick. So let's just get into it.
If you haven't
dude.
seen this before, it's kind of like a podcast style what if. So we're going to get into it. If you want more like this, check out the ones I've done with Zether already on his channel. There should be another one coming out soon. But enough of that. Let's get into the story, okay? Do you want to start us
How
off,
do you
Zether?
think- You know what? I'm actually down. I will take that. I will take that spot. Okay. So here's what we're thinking. Deku, I almost said Naruto. Deku's gonna be born with the heavenly restriction power, right? Obviously, he's going to be growing up in the superhuman society. And the one thing that we're going to be changing in this timeline is that Hisashi is not going to be working overseas, like sending money to Inko so that they can stay afloat. They're going to be way more
He's
poor.
going to get milk.
They're
He's
going to be
getting
like,
milk.
he's going to get milk. And they're going to be poor. Like, they're going to be dirt poor. And Izuku's just going to grow up in a poor neighborhood. And like
a little
everything's
rougher.
going to be sort of okay. Like, Izuku's kind of going to be the way that he is in the original, maybe a little bit more jaded and like less kind-hearted just because of his situation, but yeah, ultimately I really do see Deku growing up and just kind of having like a bit of a chip on his shoulder, like wanting to take himself and his mother out of this situation, but he still is going to be growing up in the same neighborhood as Bakugo, and Inko and Mitsuki are going to be friends.
I like it.
Yeah. And another thing that me and Weeb said is that basically Deku is going to more or less be the same, and the day that he's told that he's quirkless, it's just gonna straight break him.
Yeah, because his whole thing, his whole idea was that he was gonna be like All Might and become super rich and like kind of like save his family, like kind of pick up the mantle, right? So
he wants to become.
That was
an
kind of
NBA
his
player.
motivation. He wants to become an NBA player.
He literally does.
That's
dude.
crazy. Yeah. So basically, his NBA dreams have been broken. In Pro Hero Society, of course. But
he pretty much found out
think-
that he wasn't 6 feet tall or over.
You're gonna be short, kid. Cork doctor.
Bro, literally. But yeah,
He
because of this,
honestly is.
Deku just grows up like kind of weak. You know what I mean? And it's not because he's actually weak, because he's born with the heavenly restriction ability.
He's mentally thinking that he's less than everyone else.
I don't know if you guys have ever experienced this, but like, have you guys ever been at the gym? Like, I know Weeb has, because this dude is jacked, but like, you think you can't do it, and so you just can't because you've told yourself you can't.
Yeah, you gotta push beyond plus ultra.
Exactly. So what happens after that?
That was kind of cringe. Okay, so after the quirk doctor tells Deku that he wasn't born with a quirk, which is in this version of events is the exchange that's been made between him and the Pact of Heaven to give him Toji's power, is he has no quirk. That is what's making him different in the society. Deku's gonna not realize how strong he is. For one, because he thinks he's weak, he's going to be weak. And Bakugo and his friends are gonna make fun of him for it. So Bakugo is going to be constantly bullying Deku, calling him a poor kid. He's so poor he can't even afford a quirk. Like, that's how much they're going to bully him.
He's so poor he can't even afford a quirk. It's crazy. Dude, you know what I'm thinking
and there's
would be
guys
really
who have
interesting?
pencil heads. Yeah, what's up?
They bully him for being poor, then they bully him for being quirkless, and Deku, like, because of the nature that he has like this chip on his shoulder, he's like a bit more like jaded. He like tries to stand up for himself one day and he just gets beat on, bro. Like,
yeah, I could
badly.
see it.
Mm-hmm.
So how old do you think he'd be? Like, is this like closer to the end of elementary school, or like
I feel like
it's
that opening scene of like, Kachan, like, if you don't stop, I'll stop you myself. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, so I think that we should do it there. What
do
you think happens
the
after
voice
that?
as well.
Mm-hmm,
So
I've been practicing.
I think. Oh, I see. I see the TikTok, the brain rot's been influencing you.
Oh yeah.
With yeah, I could see Deku, especially just with how his personality has become so far, based off of like his backstory. When Bakugo is making fun of him, eventually one day, like, all of this pressure is gonna snap and all this stress from it, and he's just gonna grab his hand. So Bakugo is gonna have been flexing his quirk, and Deku's just gonna say, "I'm tired of this," and he's like, maybe you should try living in my situation. So he's gonna like grab his hand and just snap his left wrist, basically like making his hand inactive. So Bakugo's gonna scream, and this will be like at school, and the teachers are gonna blame Deku. So he's gonna see like that even though he's been getting picked on, they're gonna have sided with the people who have been attacking him this whole time. You know?
Quick question though, how old should he be? Do you think it should be like 6th grade that this happens?
I'm thinking like 6th grade.
Yeah, I think that's probably
and
a perfect
Bakugo's
point.
gonna like stop talking to him, and he's gonna be avoiding him. He's gonna call him like a freak, like, "Stay away from us, you quirkless freak," like that kind of thing, you know?
Dude, I can easily see Bakugo doing something like that. And it's just like, Bakugo would literally bully this dude Deku every single day from the moment that he found that he was quirkless. And Deku just like, he was scared, just like in the original, especially remembering that one day that they like beat him up. He would just like stay silent, and like, he just keeps telling himself, "I'm weak, I'm weak, I'm weak." And so he just literally made himself believe that. And eventually came the day where Bakugo just went in deeper than he should have, and his lackeys were literally holding Deku. Like, they were holding him so that he couldn't move his arms, and Deku just found himself in like possibly the worst situation, because he was scared. Like, just imagine like remembering that beating from when you were a kid and understanding that that's about to happen again. And Deku just like whispers exactly what Weeb said. He's like, "Try walking a mile in my shoes." And like
it's not happening.
It's
like,
not. And then
I'm done with this.
Deku's just tired of it. So he headbutts the kid who's holding him from behind, giving him a bloody nose, and then proceeds to dodge out of the way of the hit that Bakugo was about to throw at him, because we've seen Deku do that being quirkless. No, he knows what it's like. In this moment, Deku like kind of like, he takes off that mental block of like, I'm weak. Yeah. Because he just realized,
like when he used his brain and like threw his bag at the sludge villain to save Baku in the original timeline, and he like did his best to try and save him even though he had nothing going for him. In this version, it's the opposite, where he finally is like, I've had enough of this, and he's like, "I'm tired of letting you walk all over me," and just like throws them off him and just straight up traumatizes Bakugo.
I guess you could sort of say it's his like cursed energy awakening moment, except he obviously doesn't have one. You know what I mean? But like, it'd be like in JJK when Itadori is like, "I'm you," and he just gets all like serious, and his face, the light in his eyes dies out. In this version of events, Deku at this moment he doesn't care about Bakugo or his friends from like when they were younger anymore. He's like, I don't care that I don't have a quirk. I'm not gonna let any of you stop me. I'm gonna become the greatest hero on my power alone, you know? Yeah, and like, just remember, like, Deku just straight up like grabs Bakugo's wrist, like we've said, and he just snaps that thing. And so after that,
2 years later,
2 years,
8th grade, 2 years.
Okay,
2 years
later,
later,
2 years pass.
Eighth grade. They're on their way to moving to decide what high school they're going to go to, and obviously he can't afford UA. So UA is not even an option for him, so he's thinking of going to another hero school. And Bakugo by this point is just going to be avoiding him, and he's not going to be even interested in talking or looking at Deku. Like, he's just done with him. After that, he's pissed off. He thinks that Deku looks down on him as being weak, so Bakugo just wants to avoid him. And I think even when Bakugo would be applying for UA, and like the teacher would say it, he would ignore Izuku because everyone wants to go. After class, Baku would be like, "Don't even dare try to apply for UA. There's no way you can get in." You know?
You're still a quirkless Deku, like something like that.
Yeah, I think that'd be possible. And when Deku's heading home and the sludge villain attack would happen, I think this is where our first major change with his heavenly restriction would come into place. Aside from, well, Bakugo and Deku's relationship being probably worse in this timeline.
Yeah.
It's going to be the fact that the sludge villain is going to try and take over Deku's body, and he's just going to grab him and rip him off of his flesh. Like, it's going to surround Deku, and Deku's just going to, like, pull his fists in and push out, and all the slime is going to go get sent flying under the bridge, splattering. So before All Might even arrives, Deku would just have left. Like, he would just left the sludge villain as a mess all over the ground.
Dude, that'd be crazy. Like, imagine you're All Might and you just jump out of the sewer and you see like bits and pieces of the sludge villain just destroyed.
Everywhere.
And
like, there's no one around.
Bro, I would almost imagine like a crime scene where there's like just blood everywhere, but like there's like footprints.
Obviously, there's no blood.
There's like footprints of like small, like you know, like decently smaller footprints. And he's like, "Yeah, was that a kid?" But he doesn't like know, because Deku just straight up went home and just started like doing whatever it was that he felt like doing. Because it's just like Deku's heavenly restriction. Like, he's not like he's sitting here having a train. He's just like, the more time that passes and the more that he stopped worrying about what other people thought, he changed. He's naturally gifted so much physically. Exactly. And that's not even it, dude. Like, over the years, the Deku that you guys know that would be super heroic and like super just different, it's not even like that, because leading up to all of this stuff, Deku just doesn't want to be poor. And he literally ends up getting involved with the wrong crowd. Like, tell him this. Tell him what we thought of. Tell him what we were thinking.
So our thought is that during that time where Bakugo has now been absent and they haven't been bullying him, Deku would have been working on his physical, like how he fights. He'd have become a street fighter. So when he's not at school, because he's not as like focused on studying or analyzing heroes, he's just focused on becoming stronger after that 6th grade incident. I could see him getting into like street gang fights or like Yakuza incidents in Japan. So while the heroes are still a thing he wants to do, I could see him kind of being like almost like a vigilante where he's fighting like Yakuza and just like taking on gang members after school for fun, like just to like test himself so that he can get stronger. And he'd be like fighting people with quirks. So it's almost kind of like MHA Vigilantes, where you guys, if you guys have seen that series, it's pretty good. Where he'd just be fighting people for fun, like not even for, at this point, just to get stronger. Like, think Saitama just casually walking around, seeing a fight and just jumping in. That's the kind of person Deku is at this point.
Honestly, and it's like, the only reason that he would even join these gangs is just because people would constantly look down upon him. And one day, he would end up getting into a fight with some kid from a rival school who notices him and just starts like bad mouthing Deku, and he beats him up. Mind you, Deku's quirkless, so even though he's strong, people still kind of like look at him as like different and they don't want to associate with him. And the only people that gave him a chance were this bad crowd. So now Deku has this bad name and bad reputation, and even if he wanted to
he doesn't
and even if he wanted to get to UA, he's gonna have like a harder time doing it. But you know, it doesn't really matter. I mean, if they let Bakugo in, they're gonna let Deku in when they find out.
Bro was so honest about, he was like, I will literally, like, he just screamed die. He tried to straight up he had like a domestic terrorist attack on that first versus battle in the building. School. Yeah, you remember that?
Dude, this dude literally tried to kill another student the first week of school.
First week of school, tried to just public property damage, millions of dollars just burned. Like,
bro, they're gonna let Deku in. Like, at this point, this hero society straight up does not care about your past so long as you have a cool power.
Yeah, if you have a cool, flashy ability, that's what they're more interested in. So I think that's going to be the real contention thing that Deku's going to have to deal with at this point, is his quirk isn't flashy at all. And by quirk, I mean he has biceps, triceps, and a strong chest push-up.
Dude, you know what I'm thinking about? When Deku gets to UA, because obviously he's going to be passing the entrance exams. Like, we can't even stop here and like question it. He's going to take the entrance exam after the 10 months. If he has Toji's heavenly
restriction, he's so strong, it doesn't even matter. Like, it doesn't even matter if he doesn't train. Like, he's still going to be more powerful than all of Class 1A was. He's faster than Ida was probably by season 3, just because of that, you know,
easily faster than Ida. And when the test does happen, obviously he's gonna pass because Deku's not dumb. He just kind of is a little bit more jaded, you know, because of the crowd that he hangs out with. But Deku still is gonna have that intelligent mind. And then eventually he goes to the Sludgeville and stuff, or sorry, the robot stuff, and he's just gonna shatter them. Like he's gonna rush.
I think this would be interesting. So everyone's gonna be like telling him like you shouldn't, if you're actually quirkless, because he's gonna write down quirkless instead of any like super strength or anything. Everyone's gonna be telling him. I can see President Mike. He's like 3, 2, 1, and go. And as soon as the gate opens, Ida would be like, "Are you sure you really want to?" And he'd just be gone. Like Deku would be gone. He would speed blitz the entire crowd and would just have ripped a robot's arm off, be using it as a battering ram, just whipping it at other robots. I could see him just like, you know, Mario Bowser style power spinning with like a huge robot. I could see him just taking out point after point, and everyone realizes that they're behind as they start running for like that guy is not quirkless. Like what the hell is that,
bro?
You know
the teachers, you know, like how the teachers were inside of like the viewing area, they would be like, who is this kid? And they look at his file and they're like, quirkless. And like they're just looking at each other. They're like, this kid is not quirkless. Because mind you, this dude Deku would lunge up into the air and grab a robot's face, smashing it into the ground, and just like looking up with this huge
like
smile.
Craters. Yeah, like but for reference at this point, like this is not a challenge for him. After fighting human opponents for 2 years, this is nothing. Like especially with his reaction, his physical stats. Those robots, they're cooked. They're gone.
And it's like the police would literally have found some people with their faces beat in. And like, that was just Deku. That was, dude, these guys weren't even villains. They weren't even villains, bro. They were just other people who made him mad. they just upset him.
He's just taking out people for being annoying.
Exactly. And like we was saying, this dude would just go crazy in the UA entrance exam. But what I'm thinking happens, bro, is once he passes and we get to the first day of school, you know, he's gonna enter the class, yada yada yada. And when Deku walks in and sees Bakugo's just gonna look at him with this angry like stare, being like, "Didn't I tell you not to get not to walk in?"
But before we get into the classroom, something we talked about is how could he afford UA? Because of the family situation.
That's true.
So one thing I'll bring up is I think when he gets the acceptance letter, it's gonna be All Might on the screen, and he's gonna say, "Young man, I saw the potential in you," and he's gonna have actually paid for.
He's gonna freaking sponsor Deku.
He's gonna sponsor him and say he's giving him a scholarship to enter into UA since he had the highest point count of the entire exam, because he had sent a letter saying he declined the invitation and just attended the exam to see if he could have made it in. That's gonna be what I'm saying. Yeah,
dude, I like that. And you know what would be kind of cool is All Might would start laughing. He's like, "You even did better than my score in my days, if you could believe it." Like something like that.
Yeah, that'd be cool. I could see Deku like a light coming into his eyes for a second as he realizes like someone's actually doing something for him, even though he's quirkless.
And then his mom's just gonna start crying. His mom's just gonna start crying, dude.
You get to actually go to UA. Like it's gonna be emotional. I like that. I think that's a cool scene.
Dude, Deku would just hug his mom and be like, "Thank you so much for pushing me to even go. Like I wasn't even gonna go." And then obviously we get Deku like walking into the class holding his bag. You know, like,
you know, be so cold.
What?
If because he declined the invitation originally and then All Might like stepped in, I could see him being late. Like he's not gonna be there on the first day. So that like the test would have happened, Mineta's just gone. And Bakugo is happy. Like Bakugo is casually like the top dog in this class besides Todoroki. And then Aizawa would be like, "All right, guys. Unfortunately, we have a late entry into UA since that's being allowed now."
Dude,
and then Bakugo,
that's genius. Keep going.
Bakugo would look up and he'd see Deku just straddling in. He'd have his bag, like the UA bag, thrown over his shoulder, and he'd be like, "What's up?" And Bakugo would just be like, like his mouth would just drop. He'd be staring at him like, "How? Why is this guy here? Like, what the hell?"
I can see Bakugo be like, "What the hell? What are you doing here, Deku?"
It'd be funny too because I feel like you know like the arm guy Dupli arms. I feel like him and Deku would have like a similar physique. So I could see Deku ignoring everyone and just like being like, this guy knows what's going on, and just like eyeing him up. Like, you know what I mean?
Just like looking at Dupli Arms, thinking that he's like going to be his competition, not realizing that Dupli Arms like a weakling.
I think it'd be funny.
Bro, that'd be hilarious.
You ever do that? You walk into the gym, you see some
he would walk in the day of the Heroes versus Villains event would actually play out, which is really, really interesting to think about.
Yeah, so he comes in, and the hero, they were just about to go on the field trip, and now this guy's here. So,
no, not the field trip, but like the Heroes versus Villains.
The Heroes versus Villains.
Yeah, where Bakugo like
the 2 versus 2 matchup.
Exactly, dude. You know what'd be cool if before Deku sits down, Aizawa just like looks at him and goes, "I've read over your file. If you do the things that your file talks about here, I'll expel you without a second thought."
That's sick. I could see him looking at Aizawa and being like, "I wish you would try," because I could see him like looking at him thinking he's not even a challenge. Like I could see him looking down on Aizawa too,
bro. Because I could see Deku doing like
Aizawa thinks he can deactivate his ability like from what he's seen in the exam.
He thinks that he can like shut him down, but whole time Deku's like, "I don't have an ability."
Yeah, I dude, that'd be so sick. During the Heroes versus Villains thing, Aizawa could be there and he could like use his quirk on Deku and it just would be ineffective. That would be so dope. What?
Bro,
come on.
But he could be there. But hear me out. Aizawa isn't actually there during the Heroes versus Villains because All Might's the one who's in charge of that section.
It'd be so fun though. See, this is why I don't make
MHA
videos.
You know where he could actually do that? In the USJ. Like, let's say Deku starts being too brutal. We'll get to that when we get there. Yeah. So like he was saying, can I cover this one?
Who's he
cover
with?
the USJ?
Yeah.
All right, bet.
You got me.
Let me get down. So here's what I'm thinking happens. Deku, obviously, we've established that he's kind of this badass. Think Mikey from Tokyo Revengers. And when he walks into the classroom, like Aizawa just introduces him and just goes, "Yeah, but it's All Might's problem today." All Might comes in, yada yada yada. We get the team set up, and it would be Deku and Uraraka. Mind you, Deku and Uraraka haven't even had their interactions of like being saved or anything like that. And the only reason that Uraraka would be alive and not crushed by the 0-pointer is because Nezu would deactivate the 0-pointer before it actually kills Uraraka.
Nah, no way. You know, I don't.
Deku was part
I
of
think
the
Deku's there.
Deku was
he's
part
still
of
in
the
the entrance
exam.
exam. Dude, I could see him just taking down the robot, like chucking a huge robot at the giant one, leaping up the building and just starting to like rip pieces off of it. Like he'd rip sheet metal off of the huge robot and just tear it apart from the inside. Like that's what I'm seeing, you know?
Bro, I can even see Uraraka having like this like kind of like a blush around Deku because she's just like looking at him and she's like, dude, this guy, like he's giving off so much aura.
The Black Air Force energy. I could see her kind of actually like asking where he's at. Like when the first day of school happened, she's like, where's that bigger guy who saved me from the 0-point robot?
And everyone just ignores her.
That could be an All Might. Yeah, and then All Might's like would be talking to her about it, and he'd be like, I remember him, and that's when that whole situation happens, you know?
Okay, I like that. So obviously during the 2v2 battles, it's obviously going to be Deku versus Bakugo, and this is where things get a bit interesting because Bakugo is just pissed at the fact that Deku even got into the school. Because he didn't even know, because originally in the timeline, Deku and Bakugo go back to the middle school and they're like, they have their pictures taken because they're like so proud of the fact that 2 people from their school got in. Exactly. This time that doesn't happen and Bakugo's just now finding out. So Bakugo is royally angry.
Deku was skipping class.
Bro, he's mad. And Bakugo would just go shooting, looking for Deku, being like, Deku! You know what I mean? And so, Deku hearing that, like his senses are heightened because, heavenly restriction. And hearing this, Deku just like, he like steps on the ground.
Reference? Dude, the Toji's heavenly, I guess Deku's heavenly restriction in this timeline is so crazy that Toji is able, in JJK, Toji can sense cursed spirits without having any cursed energy. His 5 senses are so good that it makes up for him not having that 6th sense. So
he's
Deku has insane senses.
That are in limbo.
Yeah, he can fight things that he can't even see. Like he can't see them or sense them at all. And
Think Sage Mode. Think Sage Mode if you guys have never seen JJK.
He can feel other the airwaves of things moving. Like it's crazy.
That makes it even more impressive the way that he straight beats them down.
That's what I'm saying, right?
Dude, that's insane.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, and Bakugo, like I said, he would come flying in, and Deku's just like, he just has this huge grin on his face. Like I could see the ground that like he shoot. Like you know how
Dude,
like when you're running.
So funny. I just thought about this. So everyone else would have their hero suits, but Deku just would be in like his school uniform because he doesn't even have like a hero suit designed yet. Like he won't even have one right now. Like,
Deku would just kind of take off his uniform and have like the compression shirt that Toji has.
Yeah, you see, I could see him like tying the jacket around his waist. No, that'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, exactly, just like that. Like that's what he has.
Yeah,
that's kind of fresh. That's kind of fresh.
Like
I'm not gonna lie. And like Bakugo comes shooting in, but Deku, like I said, like, bro, have you seen those moments when like you're running off of the ground and like the ground like breaks because of how like strong? Yeah, it cracks. Like Deku would do that and rush at Bakugo's face, grabbing it and like slamming his face through the wall, like just dragging it across the wall. As Bakugo's like he's just like getting hurt, and he like thrives throwing an explosion at Deku's face.
Man is Broly.
He's Broly, dude. He's literally pulling a Broly, and then he just throws him into a wall. And Bakugo's like he's scared, dude. Like he would like be terrified. He holds out his gauntlet and he's like, "Die!" You know what I mean? Bro, Deku just stands there. And he takes it. I don't know if you get that reference. That's Andrew Tate. But
no, I got you.
Yeah, and he's just standing there, and his shirt is like blown off. He's now shirtless, and he just like looks at Bakugo.
Does he even block? Does he like put his arms up to block the explosion?
He does the Nanami thing. He grabs him by the hair and just gets down on eye level with him, and straight up just starts slapping his face.
Picks him up.
He starts slapping his face. He's like Bakugo, like you really thought you could beat me? Or something like that, you know what I mean?
You thought your sweat was like, did you really think your sweat was better than me? Like
your sweat, I don't know. That's kind of weird. Think of another one.
That's what he did. Like I don't know. Like he straight up just threw his sweat at him. That's what Bakugo does, which is still kind of strange. But I could see him like picking up Bakugo's gauntlet, like holding him by the gauntlet, and just ripping it off and just shattering like the support gear, and being like, "This is even weaker than you are," and just like kicking him into the wall. You know?
Yeah, and he just like picks him up by the hair and just like looks at him and says that he'll always be second place, and just like just straight kicks his skull into the wall, knocking him out. And All Might is just.
And then I could see the rest of the class being like, which team was the heroes again?
Bro, they literally would say that. Oh, dude, that's hilarious. All Might would probably have been like, Izuku, stop. And Deku just like he straight took off the earpiece and just smashes it on the ground.
Think of how cool it would be when Bakugo is gonna use that massive explosion, and All Might would have been like, stop it, Bakugo, you're gonna kill him. And then he just has his arms up, shirt blown off, and just standing there. Like the room behind him is just all covered in ash, and then there's just a trail from his feet all the way back that's clean. So cool. God, that's beautiful.
Bro, that would be sick. And then he just goes to the bomb room and like he sees Uraraka there by the door, and he's like, it's in here, I'm guessing, right?
I could see Uraraka having been captured by Ida. Like she's just chilling there because he didn't explode the building. Like he didn't throw that one for all punch. So she just be captured. I could see while Ida's talking to her, he'd just walk right in. Ida would turn around, he'd start monologuing, and Deku would just instantly be right by the bomb and just touch it. Just like, and Ida would be like, like he'd just be stunned.
Bro,
like, he just ignored his
hear
whole
me out.
thing.
Instead of just like blitzes there, he blitzes there and he's like about to touch it, and Ida, like not wanting to lose, comes in throwing his like strongest kick, and Deku just like stops it with one hand, and he's like, chill.
Oh, like he puts his hand up.
Yeah, and then he touches the bomb.
It's over.
Like it's
that's cool. I like it.
That's cold, dude. That's the Deku that you guys are getting in this timeline. That's sick.
That's my boy. That's Deku Fushiguro over here.
All right. After this, they're gonna be having to give in some permission slips, obviously, for the USJ, which is where I'm gonna be passing the beautiful mic to you, Cook.
Oh, thank you, my boy. I appreciate that. So now that the double event has happened, and basically all of Class 1A has seen how strong this new guy is, everyone will be impressed by Deku. I could see Deku even picking his hero name to be Deku for a different reason, and this time I could see him just doing it to spite Bakugo. So I could see Bakugo being like, why would you choose that name? And Deku would be like, I think it'll be great, but every time you look at the top heroes list, that my name will always be above yours. Like, That would be cool. I think that'd be how he chooses his name in this timeline.
It's not even Uraraka like making him feel
no,
good
like
about
he'd
it.
be doing it just to mock, just
To spite
specifically to mock and spite Bakugo, which would be crazy. But anyway, like you said, USJ permission slips are passed out. Of course, Mama Midoriya is gonna sign it. She's just happy he's even here to begin with. And he's not even that interested. Like the USJ and the original Deku is kind of geeking out about it. He's more of interested in seeing this black hole quirk, if anything, because he's still interested in like different abilities of people, but not like writing notes on it. More of how can I beat this person, right? So I could see Deku when he shows up the USJ with everyone, when the events start with the black portal opening in the middle and the black hole quirk hero getting, you know, reverse Uno'd. When everyone's getting absorbed into the portals and Deku realizes that he's underwater, I could see him like just having a smile on his face. It would be him and Tsuyu, since Minato would have been expelled without anyone else there to, you know, conflict with Deku having been the lowest originally. This time, we got we've got the whole class except Minato. So I could see him and Tsuyu in the water, and when the villains try and capsize the boat, I could see Deku leaping off the boat and running on the water. Like he'd be straight running on the water and just stomping people like their heads as they come out of the water. So I could like he'd be reaching under, pulling people out and throwing them to the edge of the lake.
You know what I would see actually happen? Like when he falls into the water, he just starts beating people in the water.
In the water. He
And
starts
Tsuyu-
spinning. There'd be like a vortex.
Tsuyu grabs him with their tongue, like taking him like on the ship, being like, "What are we gonna do?" And Deku just looks at her and goes, "I don't know about you, but I'm going back." And he just continues just beating them, bro. He just keeps beating their heads in, bro. Eventually, like all of them are taken care of. And then Tsuyu's like,
Yeah,
what
they
do
just
we
start
do
floating
now?
up to the top of the lake.
What do we do now, Izuku?
This is when my favorite fight this is my favorite farts coming up, okay? This is when he's gonna be like, let's get to shore. He's gonna grab her and just run to the shore. And that's when we're gonna see Aizawa getting beaten by Nomu. The first Nomu we ever saw. And Shigaraki's over there making his cringe villain dialogue, like, it's always the heroes who are winning in the bright of day. And Deku would be like, the brightness of day, huh? And then that's when he just stopped the Nomu's fist from like pounding into Aizawa's head. Because Aizawa was getting beaten by this Nomu. Remember that?
Messed up. Bro, you know what I imagined? Like Deku just straight punches the Nomu's head clean off. Like he just arrives there and he just blows the head off.
That's too fat. That's too much. You
the
gotta
Nomu can
hold
heal.
out a little bit.
The Nomu can heal, remember?
Oh, it can regenerate? Yeah. I don't know if can it heal if its head is taken off?
No. It can definitely heal if its head's taken off. This one, like, it was kind of crazy.
All right. Let's say the first Nomu can. I did not know that. Again, MHA, not my forte. But Deku would take it out and actually think he's done. And then he gets kicked or punched in the side of his ribs and would get sent sprawling to the ground. I could see him being shocked by this, and he'd look up and see this one's actually challenging. As he wipes a single blood, a trail of blood down the left side of his mouth. I could see him just wiping it and smiling, finally a challenge. So I'd see him stand up, and Shigaraki would laugh, saying, "Your punches are completely ineffective. This Nomu was made to beat All Might. His punches are far stronger than..." And then we just get the barrage of the back and forth, like how All Might had it with Nomu originally. We see Deku going hand for hand with this Nomu. He'd be throwing a punch into its abdomen. The shock absorption would start bulging its back, and we see the speed blitz between these two. I could see Tsuyu shocked as she tries to grab Aizawa and get away from the destruction. Kurogiri and Shigaraki would just be silent. He was talking mad shit, and he just stopped talking. He'd be All Might would arrive and would see Deku slamming the Nomu with he would grab both his fists together, interlocking his fingers, and he would just double fist this Nomu into the ground. He'd bury him into the ground. And I could see Shigaraki telling Kurogiri. Yeah, he would whack-a-mole the Nomu.
Bro.
So the Nomu would be struggling. It would be half its body underground, and its legs would be kicking in the air. He'd walk over, he'd grab it around its torso and start tightening his arms, and he'd start squeezing the Nomu as its blood would start spurting out while it's healing, and he'd just start twisting. He'd start walking around in a circle.
All Might would literally arrive and be like, "Chill, bro. I think you beat it."
He walks in and sees him ripping the Nomu in half. The Nomu would get ripped in half, and he'd just throw it up into the ceiling.
Right. All my just like, I think it's dead, young man.
I think you killed it.
He turns to the side and sees that Shigaraki's just gone. He has this just indifferent look on his face. He's like, who cares?
He just dipped.
He's like, he was weak anyways.
That Nomu must have been a failure. It got taken out by a freshman student.
Bro, he looks at Oma. He goes, that thing was supposed to kill you, but I don't think it could.
I think I overestimated my Nomu. I gotta head back. I'm about to head out.
Bro, like, imagine Shigaraki going back and being like, you didn't tell me about that kid. He destroyed the Nomu. And he looked like he was having fun. And all for one, like, he hears that, he's like, what? Like, he like tries to sound calm, but he's freaking out internally.
Of course. Of course. It was just a test.
That was the
shit.
Exactly, dude. He's like scared. Bro, after
I could see him being like, yeah.
What does he do?
I could see All For One. Well, All For One's he's not talking to Shigaraki yet because he's still, he's still in the prison, right? In Tartarus or something. I could see Shigaraki like talking to the quirk doctor.
No.
Like
All
the
For One wasn't in Tartarus at this point. He was free. So he's like on the TV screen. He's on the TV screen. Remember?
Oh, okay. Yeah. So he was on the TV screen. I got you. I could see him like panicking and being like, was it All Might? Like, did he beat him that easily? And I could see him thinking that this kid is the inheritor of One for All. That is my first thought. So he's gonna go kind of
about to say that. That's crazy.
Yeah. So he's like, so he can already use that much of One for All's power just after inheriting it, huh? Like, he would think like he can fully utilize One for All. That's my first thought.
I definitely think that would be the case, honestly. Like, there's no way that All For One does not think that. But other than that, like, nothing really cool happens here other than obviously the cleanup. But then we get to the UA Sports Festival, which is like,
the Sports Festival's coming up. So I'll start it off, and then I think I'll let you take the actual fights.
Bro, could I just please cover Todoroki versus Deku? That's all.
100%. Oh, that's gonna be so fun.
Bro, you do the Bakugo one because I just did it last time, so now you got to do it this time.
All right. So here's how the UA Sports Festival is going to break down, okay? So we got the 3 events. The first one going to be the foot race. This one is going to be so much funnier because in the original, Deku used his head, and it's actually a really cool and well-written scene with him overpowering with, like, not might. That's not the case this time. He's just going to, as soon as it starts, he's going to start running full sprint through the minefields. You know what I mean? Like, he's going to just start... Like, as soon as he puts his foot down, he'll be gone. So he'll have left a trail of explosions and just dust.
Bro, dust would appear and people would, like, freak out. I could see him, like, shooting out of the dust. He would shoot out of the dust, and people would be like, he's alive?
Yeah, how is he pushing through that? And he'd be almost leaving a trail, like, for everyone else to follow, while Todoroki and Bakugo are desperately trying to catch up. And Ito would be like kind of feeling underachieving considering he has a speed quirk, and even if he steps on it, even he's not fast enough to not be caught by it. So Deku just outspeeds the time between the mine being activated by his foot and him leaving it. So he's gone. The minefield is like no issue for him. When the robots show up, he'd smirk saying, "These guys again?" I could see him just taking one of its arms, ripping it off with like a chop to it, and then using it to smash the other ones into the ground. So he would leave a wall of robots for everyone else, kind of like what Todoroki did with the ice field in the original.
Bro, imagine you're a villain. You're a villain watching this at your house, and you're like eating pizza. Like, your mouth is just like wide open, and you're like, all right, it's time to retire. Like, I'm not going to fight this kid.
Like, Deku's violence in this is going to be different from Bakugo's. Bakugo is like, die. Like, he's like screaming, die. But what Deku's actions are screaming is, I'm going to kill you. Like, it's not. Like,
bro, people are going to be like, I don't ever want to fight this kid. Like, how is this kid going to be a hero? Like, what?
Bro chose to become a hero so he could legally commit violence. Like, that's what people are going to be thinking, you know?
Bro, literally. But... okay, right after that, we get the what's it called?
The team battle? The team cavalry battle. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
What happens there?
I think the cavalry battle, we would have the same teams because that was randomly assigned, right? So I could see.
No. They all chose their own teams.
Was it they got to choose their teams?
Yeah, and nobody wanted to be with Deku originally because like he made himself out to be like this like target.
Oh yeah, because I remember now.
Bro, everybody would line up to be on his team. They're like, could we be on your team? Could we be on your team?
Are you sure though? Because I could see them wanting to target him because he still has the 100 million headband. I could see
After
Deku
witnessing what this dude just did.
Yeah.
No way.
Well, because he's still the biggest target, so everyone's gonna want to get his headband. My thought is that he have the same team from the original, where everyone like who was on his side originally would choose to be on his side. And at that point, I could kind of see Deku saying, "Let me be the horse." So he'd actually be the lead horse, and I could see him like carrying the rest of his team on his back. Like he'd pick up the rest of the team and would just be running around on the arena. So everyone else would be like, no one can touch him. Like he wouldn't even be trying to take other people's headbands. He'd say just everyone like stay as still as possible, and he'd just be running around the arena. Like no one can even like get close to him. So that'd be really funny. You just see him carrying all four other people.
It would just be like a who's gonna carry the boats moment. Like I think that's gonna be pretty funny. I'm not gonna lie.
I think it'd be cool. So after that, he would win with first place, which gives him like the first highest. For one, it's their team. I think it was divided by the points was divided among everyone on the team. So they would all now have the highest points currently of the sports festival. This is going to put a ton of pressure on pretty much everyone else because no one else has had a very good showing. So Bakugo and Todoroki, they're going to have like another mini. Do you remember what happened in the original where they had like to have a mini game in order to decide who would go on? Because Deku would have so many points from winning the first race and keeping his headband for the second one, I could see he'd be like his team would be the only people cleared for the tournament. So everyone else would have to do another game to actually get them to be deciding who's going to be going on to the next fight.
That's how much of an insane victory this dude gave. I like that actually. And regardless of what the next event is, all the people that passed originally are going to pass just to make it easier for us. What do you think about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
But
so
for the sake
what happens for the
of
first battle? Shino versus Deku. Like, because obviously Shino's going to try talking his mess, but Deku's not the kind of person who's going to talk back. He's just about that action.
Here's the thing. I don't think I don't think Ojiro would even tell Deku about his weakness. So I could in a timeline where Deku actually has something he cares about, this is kind of game over for the sports festival in my opinion. But because he got there late and doesn't really have a relationship with Uraraka or Ida or anyone, when Shinzo's like making fun of him and like talking about how weak Ojiro was, Deku got really angry about it in the first timeline, right? Like he said, you take that back. Like he was pissed about him talking crap about his classmate. In this timeline, Deku would just smirk, and in his head he'd be like, "I guess I'll teach this. I'll just teach this kid what I do to everyone else," and he just smash him in the face,
bro. I really do think that Deku wouldn't say anything. Just period. This dude has been emanating Black Air Force energy from the beginning, and he's not about talking. He's about action.
Do you think? I think he just, before Shinzo can even ask him a question, I could see him just like walking forward and just starting to throw hands. Like he just put his hands up and be like, he'd like give him the head nod, you know? Like it would just, there would be no time for talking. It would be over so fast.
Deku just has his hands in his pockets as he's walking closer and closer to Shinzo. Shinso's just like looking at
like
Deku,
taking steps back.
Trying to
I could see him screaming like, "It must be nice to have a quirk. Like you can just look down on people like me who don't have a strong quirk." And then Deku would just like chop him on the neck and just take him to the ground. And as he's walking away, he'd answer his question and be like, "For the record, I don't have a quirk." And he would just keep walking with Shinzo like unconscious. That would be crazy.
On some Saitama type stuff. That's pretty fresh. Cool. I like that. Right after that, we would get the fight between Todoroki and Deku, but this time around, Todoroki's not gonna look at Deku and be like, "Are you related to All Might? Like, are you a secret love child?" That's not gonna happen. Just because even though he is super strong, They're not hanging around each other. Like the whole
that
vibe
was a
is
big
different.
thing. Is All Might is different with Deku. It's more of like he's like his sponsor. So I don't think it's gonna happen like the same way.
Yeah, no, I can definitely get behind everything that you just said. And so what I'm thinking pretty much ends up taking place in this little section of the story is that Deku and Todoroki just get into the ring. And obviously in this part, Todoroki was like angry and he just wanted to prove that he was the best. I could also see Todoroki this time looking at Deku and just like wanting to prove that that Deku isn't the strongest. And so he's just like, I'm going to destroy him. Yeah. And he would freeze Deku in like a gigantic ice glacier, just like he did
like with Zero.
But then the ice just starts like moving, and like Deku just breaks out of it, and he just like looks at Todoroki smiling. And so Todoroki tries to like shoot more ice at Deku, but Deku just runs forward punching at it, just shattering the ice as he goes.
Here's the thing, he's so fast that I think even if Todoroki hits him with that huge glacier, like Deku could probably move fast enough to just have completely avoided the attack. Like he could be like right behind him. I think he could have,
but the reason that I did say it the way that I did is because if you remember in the anime, Todoroki's ice glacier covers the entirety of the arena. So Deku didn't have anywhere to run to. Do you get what I'm saying?
No, I get it.
Like in a normal scenario, he would speed blitz this dude. Like there's no way. But here, he has limited area to fight.
See, that's the best part. Is he can just burrow underground and come back up.
Burrow underground, dude. That would low-key be kind of cool. Like the ice glacier's there, Deku's not there. He like comes up like Naruto style, just uppercutting him.
He pops up from the ground. You know what I'm talking about? Like, dude, he just appears out from like I could see the ice is frozen. They can't see Deku in it, and Todoroki be like, "This fight is over," and then suddenly the ground would just start shaking and the tiles would shatter apart as Deku just burrows out of the ground right in front of Todoroki, and Todoroki is too close. He's like, "I'm way too close," and Deku would not care about making Todoroki even like awaken his fire quirk. He just doesn't care about him like that. So he'd be like,
he would uppercut
I'm gonna
win.
No, he would just uppercut him. He's cooked. Like Todoroki would go.
Todoroki would shoot
into
flames at him just out of like reflex, but Deku would just tank it, bro.
He'd like hold up his other arm against like reflex and it'd cover in flames. He'd just grab him by the neck and yeet him off into the side of the arena.
He indents Todoroki into it.
Oh no!
Todoroki's just there. And he's like unconscious, and then his eyes go white, and he falls onto the dirt.
It's your quirk, not his. More like, it's your loss, not mine.
That's crazy. I don't know how I feel about that one, but I
think the final fight is the most fun.
Deku versus Bakugo, get down, bro.
Yeah, you want me to take it?
Heck yeah.
All right. So since you just finished Todoroki and we just had like. This was originally the most anticlimactic fight in the sports festival, by the way. Like, Todoroki didn't even try. He just got Howitzer Blitz and just was like, I give up. Like, he didn't even want to win. In this version of events, Bakugo has a vendetta. Bakugo is going to just do everything in his power to take down Deku. He's going to immediately... It's going to be 3, 2, and then as soon as it hits 2, like, he's not even going to wait for 1. He's going to just turn his hands forward and start blasting. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I can definitely see Bakugo like being desperate. Like he tries everything, but Deku would like walk out of the smoke.
I could see like the explosion that would be hitting Deku, and he'd just be brushing it off of his fist. Like he just put his hand forward and just like brush the explosion away. Like it would do nothing. You know what I mean? Like when Bakugo fought All Might in the original, fight with the test.
Yeah.
For the licensing exam, it'd be kind of similar. So Bakugo would just be getting he would be getting handed. He'd be getting served. I could see him having like PTSD of the original fight with Deku like not even.
You know how people in the stands when Bakugo was fighting Uraraka, they were like, "Dude, like you're not a real hero. Like how could you fight her?" They do that to Deku because he's just brutalizing Bakugo.
Yeah, he's just stomping. Yeah, it's not even like a fun fight to watch. I think it'd be that same sense, except it'd just be Deku like brushing off all of his attacks. And Bakugo knows he can't do jack because his full power gauntlet didn't even like burn Deku. Like he just took the whole hit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I think what would happen is as soon as that distance closes, because Deku's gonna take his time and Bakugo's gonna want to like be panicking. I could see Bakugo like his hands are shaking as like he's getting towered over by Deku, and Deku would just like put his knee up and just kick him in the jaw, and he just gets like sprawled out of the arena, landing on the grass, and that's it. Just one clean kick, and that's it. Just knocked out.
Dude, I think we low-key misunderstood each other, because you were thinking that I was saying that Bakugo was going all out on Deku, and like they were like, yo, like you're gonna kill the kid. Yo, no, that's actually cooler. Like everyone thinks that Bakugo's like killing Deku.
Yeah, they think that he's getting like destroyed. So they think like this guy's brutal. And after they saw like Todoroki's fight, they're like, I was really looking forward to this. And then Deku just comes out just completely at ease. And they realized like the whole reason that Bakugo was attacking like this is because he was desperate. Like he
bits
already
and pieces
knew he
of
was
his UA Sports Festival outfit are torn. A bunch of the people in the stands, mainly girls, just start like fangirling over him, and he just like he just walks off, and like the only thing covering him is like the smoke in the air.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
That'd be freaking sick.
I think as like when Deku takes out Bakugo with one attack, like just one swift motion, everyone just goes silent. Like, they won't even cheer. They just be like, what just happened? Like they would be completely side hit. Like they have no idea how that was even possible.
Yeah. They just like, I think they're stunned, dude. And then right after that, we would get the medal stuff. Is Bakugo unconscious? Is Bakugo unconscious?
He'd be sitting on the stand, like he'd be being propped up on the pike, but it's just to hold him up. Todoroki would be sitting there, like would just be standing there, like why am I here?
He's all bandaged up.
I could see Deku like scratching at the medals, thinking, "Can I sell this? Like,
dude,
is this actual gold?"
He would do that. And then right after 100%. That, the sports festival ends and the screen shifts black, anime episode. And then we find ourselves with Deku picking his hero name. Right here, he writes down Deku and smiles at Bakugo. And then he would pick his internship, which is where I want to ask you, Weeb, where do you want Izuku to intern? Because he doesn't have one for all.
Oh, yeah. I think what would be really interesting is if he doesn't get very many internship like offers, because for one thing, they saw how
they're scared of him,
also
bro.
He doesn't have a quirk. Like they're kind of afraid. Like they don't want to like give him a leg up based off of what they saw.
Bro, imagine you invite you're like the big dog and you invite a bigger dog to your agency. Like no one wants to do that.
That's what I'm saying. Like everyone is kind of intimidated, especially when they saw him take out like these number 2 hero's kid, who the number 2 hero was cheering. He's like, Shoto! And then he just saw his son get mollywopped by this dude.
In one attack.
In one hit. Like, I would be like, I could not. I see bro. Endeavor. Like, Endeavor would be ashamed. He'd be like, this was my perfect genetic creation. Like, I played Sims 4 with my family for this, huh? And it was, it'd be pretty sad.
So many years to make it, and it took Deku 2 seconds to just destroy everything
he ever built. Yeah. I don't think crazy. Endeavor would pick him. I think the agency that would go for Deku is probably Death Arms.
Mirko
or Death Arms?
No. It would be Mirko, because think about the way that she fights.
Bro is trying to make this ship happen. Okay.
No. Not even about the ship. Just like remember how Mirko handled the situation with the Nomu. Like she fights brutal. She's cool and she loves his aura.
She
loves his, exactly.
I see it.
She would love having Deku. Immediately she sends that internship offer.
I can see I can see where you're going with this. I think the fan art goes crazy, but yeah. Anyway, I guess she would offer him an internship, because you're right. She would probably be interested in that
easily, dude.
When he takes it, this is the question: is Mirko's agency isn't even near like the city where Stain and the hero killer Stain was. Does Ida get killed? Is
honestly,
Ida dead?
Bro, Ida straight up dies, because it's like. Because if like here, put it this way, Mirio in this timeline is gonna be getting one for all, right? Which means that Mirio is going to not be there, because I don't think that the third years are gonna be taking internships after the sports festival. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And even if
most of them already are working with internships. Like,
and even if
they're not like working
with,
like
he'd go with Night Eye.
Night Eye.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he wouldn't have even been there either.
Eesh, yeah. While Deku's having the time of his life training with Mirko, Ida's just like, either okay, look, let's not kill him. Maybe we could have him get paralyzed. Stain was gonna kill him.
No, Stain was gonna kill him. Yeah. He was after him for revenge for his brother. Todoroki still shows up though, I think.
Dude, I think that after Deku finds out that Todoroki's not showing up, Deku texted him to show up, remember?
You're so right. Right. So Ida's
if Todoroki would have arrived, he low-key might have died too, dude. Like, no, we can't kill him off too.
You don't want to get Todoroki's just depressed. He's just depressed and just sees Ida getting stabbed. He's like, it's my turn.
Nah, bro. Todoroki's not even there. Dude, you know what would be a cool arc? Like the hero killer revenge arc. Because think about it. After a student dies, UA's going to have to cover that in the media. They're going to at least have to shut down.
Join the League of Villains if he survives past this point, because
he would.
The thing is, his fame comes from being like taken out and from taking out the Nomu. And a lot of people were inspired from the news by Stain. So like Stain was kind of a martyr for people who had like Toga and Twice and all of these like really important villains characters. So I think Stain just ends up getting convinced that society needs to be changed after this incident. Like he'd see Ida, he'd be like, this kid who's trying to become a hero thinks that revenge is the answer.
Yeah, like, and Stain would straight up like join the League of Villains like full on.
I think Shigaraki would convince him by saying that they're not here to like be villains. They're here to change. Like they're here to destroy the current world and like reform it. So Stain would be like, I'm gonna make heroes again. Let's make heroes great again.
And like they have like opposing views of what to do, but for now like their goals are sort of aligned, so he joins.
And Stain has more power because of all the people who joined because of him. Like they'd be his fans. Like Toga would be his fangirl. She like was kind of, she was there for him. So was Dabi and Spinner and all of those guys.
All of them literally. But they would still nonetheless
all of them would
be
there for Stain.
I feel like Stain would like only be there if they ever called him. And I think he would still do his hero killing stuff. Which brings me to what I was going to say, which is UA would definitely have to shut down at least for a week minimum. Because like they have to cover
with
everything.
The death of a student. Yeah.
And during this time with Deku finding out that one of his students got killed by the hero killer, he's going to hunt the hero killer down, bro.
You think he would go after revenge for Ida?
I don't think he's going to go after him because like he loves Ida, but just like, oh, you killed one of my classmates, and Deku was just like, all right, bet. You know what I mean? Like I'm gonna get revenge. I'm gonna get my get back. He's just irritated.
Yeah, I don't even know if he'd go after Stain like that because of how little he cares in this timeline. Right. I think it's more of like what he learned from Mirko. He's gonna be more interested in that someone got taken out this early. He's gonna want to fight this guy. So he's not gonna go out of his way to hunt him down. But I think during that week where it's paused, he's gonna be thinking, what is this guy's like fighting style? Because based off of what he heard, no one's ever seen this guy use his quirk.
Itching
so he's
for
gonna
a
think
good
he's
fight.
like him.
He's bored. It's like a week since he's fought somebody, and he's like, who should I fight? He gets like a news article of Stain, and he's like,
yeah,
perfect.
Like the hero killer Stain has never like shown any quirk abilities.
Bro, he arrives to his he arrives at the city that Deku's actually at. Like he's killing heroes there. That's why
I could see that. I could see the League of Villains attack with the Nomu would be getting more out of hand because Gran Torino's not around and Endeavor's still there. But I could see that attack getting so big that they're called in. So he'd show up at the night of the crime and just be taking out Nomus, like ripping them apart. And they wouldn't be regenerating. He'd be like, that guy was way stronger than these fodder. You know what I mean?
Well, the thing is that the Nomus themselves, like the Nomu problem, was taken out by Endeavor. And Stain only really ended up handling one, which Endeavor would have handled if Stain wasn't there either way. So I don't think that
so
actually.
So why would he even go to the? Well, Gran Torino helped take out a lot of them too.
Oh, that's true. Gran Torino did help. So I think that there's just going to be more destruction. Like if you really like think about it for a second, it's just more destruction. That's really all that it comes down to. And then
so
obviously,
does he just go back to school and everyone's like, oh yeah, Ida just he's gone.
Here's the question.
He transferred.
Yeah, here's the question. It's just like, You obviously said that you don't really think that Deku would kill Stain, and once you made your point, I kind of understood where you were coming from. So Stain just like, joins the League of Villains. Yeah. And you know, like maybe he would fight him, but not on some revenge type stuff. You are absolutely right about that. So
it would be, I think, at the summer event later on. That'll be when we see Stain again. Yeah.
And I don't know if you know this, but in the My Hero Academia timeline, following these events, they go back to school and they have the rescue training race event, which like doesn't matter. So we can just skip that and go straight to the final exams arc, which is just like, you know, it's the written portion, so who cares? And then now we have to actually talk about Deku and Bakugo versus All Might. What happens here?
This will be so fun. All right, I'm gonna be real. I'm gonna talk about like the character stuff, and I want you can talk about the fight between All Might and them. Okay, so sorry about that. There's a cop outside. It's all good. It's all good. They're looking for me. Yeah, they're looking for I think they're looking for Deku actually. But,
they're looking for Deku. Dude, just get down. They're looking for him. Who cares about the cops? Just get down.
Anyway, basically, the relationship between Bakugo and Deku in this timeline is gone. Like they basically low-key hate each other. Like Deku named himself his hero name out of spite for this man. I could see Bakugo just telling him like he's gonna take out All Might by himself. He should just stay out of his way. Like he's here to fight All Might. He's not here to fight him. Like Bakugo would not be trying to team up with him. I think Deku would be like, all right. And I could see him letting Bakugo and All Might fight, with All Might just watching as Deku just sits there watching Bakugo getting abused and just get taken out. And then he would just get up and be like, it's time for the real fight, and just like crack his neck. And him and All Might would just like stare each other down. All Might would be like looking at him thinking that he would have thought about giving this guy One For All originally, but after seeing like his nature, like how he is, he could not give such an important quirk to someone without the heart of a hero. You know what I mean?
I do think that would happen, and the way that I can see the fight going down is just like exactly like you said. Deku not wanting to deal with Bakugo would not even like be like, oh, I'm gonna beat you up to shut you up, but he's just like, you want to face All Might alone? Go for it.
Fine, go ahead.
And he just sits there like with like practically a can of soda, just sipping it as Bakugo's getting leaning just against
like a building.
Exactly. Yeah. And right after that, when Bakugo's like dead knocked out, Deku just cracks his neck and just goes, all right, let's get the real fight started.
That's what I'm saying. Right?
Mm-hmm. Right here, he starts off by blitzing All Might. And Deku would be like confused. He's like, what? And he punches All Might right in the face, sending him through 2 buildings. With All Might getting up and looking up to see Deku right in front of him, about to throw another punch. So All Might would actually end up catching it with his hand, but he realizes like his hand nearly broke from just catching that punch. And so Deku realizes that All Might's weights must be holding him back. Like that's what he's thinking. He's like,
the weights he has on.
He's like, why don't you take these off? And he like rips them off of his arms with All Might, literally looking at him just like, what the heck? And like he tries swinging at Deku, and Deku just like jumps out of the way and says, why don't you take those leg weights off too, All Might? And like he does this. And like All Might is just like staring at Deku as he says, well, young man, it appears you're a lot stronger than I once thought. Let's see how you handle me at 100%. And like they blitz in towards each other, and Deku just starts beating the mess out of All Might, so the cameras just shut off, right? And like All Might, like Deku would beat All Might to the point where his transformation would disappear. There's no way he doesn't.
Yeah.
Bro. Once All Might's transformation disappears, Deku just like looks at him and he's like, you got weaker, didn't you? And All Might just like goes to sleep, bro. Deku's just there. And everybody's just like asking Deku, like, what happened? What happened? Like, how'd the fight end? And Aizawa's there. He's just like, All Might won.
Yeah. All Might won.
All Might won. Like he has to cover it up.
That's crazy. Mm-hmm. That'd be so interesting though, especially because now All Might kind of knows that there's someone who is more powerful than him with the embers of One For All. So he's kind of almost relieved, because if all for one attacks, there's 2 people who he knows can actually fight them, which is of course Mirio and Deku.
Oh, so. And can we talk about something? Do you think that Deku would be stronger than Mirio? Because obviously we know that Mirio is going to be having Danger Sense, Black Whip, Fajin, Gear Shift, all those powers, plus he's intangible. So it's like Deku wouldn't even be the strongest person in the series because like he can't put his hands on Mirio.
Yeah, Mirio is actually the strongest in this version. Although I do think in this timeline it'd be really interesting when we get to Overhaul if Deku saves Mirio from the quirk erasing bullet. That'd be kind of cool.
Dude, imagine One For All gets... Nah, that would never even happen because he would never get into that position, but we can just talk about that later. What happens after the final exams is that like Bakugo finds himself in the hospital once again.
In the nurse's office, getting kissed by the old lady.
Yeah. And then Deku is just like right there at his bedside, like just like, you should have just listened to me. And he's like taking a sip of his soda. He's like, and then Bakugo's like, shut up. And then like right here, honestly, I really want them to have like a heart-to-heart. Like they just talk about real stuff. What do you think they would say, Weeb?
Who? Deku and Bakugo?
Like a scene where
Deku
like,
doesn't have a heart.
Talk.
It's gone.
Okay.
It's not now. That's happening. Yeah. You can't have a heart-to-heart with a soulless black Air Force demon.
What do you think would happen though? Like if Deku was there and like they spoke. Because I already set it up. We can't go back.
I think he'd look at Bakugo and be like, "Yo, why?" He'd be I think he would just look down at him and be like, "Do you understand now? Do you understand your place?" Like, I could see him putting him there and just standing up and saying, "I never had pity on you. I just knew I was better than you." And
ladies and gentlemen, I made a mistake. That doesn't happen. Deku does not visit Bakugo at the hospital. That was just not it. Anyways, continuing forward, we get the Quirk training camp. And this is where things get a little interesting because when Deku finds out...
Xander, what's wrong? What's wrong?
No, nothing's wrong. When Deku finds out that there's... when Deku finds out that there's monsters and like the training camp thing, he's going to just obliterate them. Like he's going to have fun. Like right after the class is done with it, he's gonna ask for more.
That was a good. That was You mean like the stone golems from the from the cats group? Yeah.
Yeah. Deku's gonna straight up like ask Mandalay, like, can you make more?
Can you make more?
Yeah.
That does sound in character for this Toji version. I like it. I think that's a good representation of his character at this point. A lot of the other class would probably just be exasperated by him, and would kind of just be like, okay, this is too much, you know?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm pausing it right here. Okay.
Don't pause it. Don't pause it.
Yeah. I don't have a knock or anything. It's just I think we should we hit an hour. And it is like 6:30 for me. Do you want to keep going and finish the whole thing, or do you want to stop?
We can easily finish this in 30 minutes, easily.
Okay.
Did you actually pause the recording or what?
I did not pause it.
Okay, perfect. Right now. Yeah, right here. You can just cut this audio out then. I don't want to stop it. We were just let's just like sort of speed blitz the forest training camp. I'm gonna let you take care of that. Get through it as fast as possible. Have Deku like one shot muscular. When he sees Tokiyami, he beats him up or something. Like whatever you think is cool. I'm just not gonna interrupt you. Right. I'm not gonna interrupt you. You're just gonna get down.
You ready? All right. 3, 2, 1. We're cutting back in. Yeah, so the forest training camp arc, I think it would be pretty crazy because everyone else would either train their quirks. Deku would probably just be working out, and it's not going to really do much for him either because his body is already at peak physical condition naturally from the heavenly restriction. So there's really no training he can do. Based off of what we know, the only thing that Toji could do from JJK is like sharpen his combat skills. Like there's kind of a cap to the physical strength that you can get. So like I think Deku would mostly be focusing on combat skills. I could see him like wanting to train with that like the dude in the 5 cat group.
Dude.
Yeah, the ripped cat dude, and like trying to like train with him to learn more combat techniques. I think that would be interesting. I think this would be like some conversation between him and Uraraka, where like he sees her like training and doing the death arms techniques. You remember like from the internship?
Oh yeah, would Deku like give her pointers? I feel like that might happen.
I could see him like correcting her on stuff like that throw's probably not very effective, and he like explained how he'd get out of it.
He just sees her having fighting. Like this exasperated, he's like, where'd you learn this fighting style? He just starts chuckling. He's like, this person has no idea how to fight. He like gets her better at fighting while like disrespecting the person that trained her.
The training arc is him training Uraraka in hand-to-hand combat. Mm-hmm. That would be pretty funny.
That'd be kind of hilarious.
I could see that. I like it. And then I think this is where we get some more character stuff. I think Kota is going to be a really good person for Deku. This is where we start giving him like his hero time back, you know? I could see him like wondering like this kid, he would have tried to kick Izuku in the balls and his leg just wouldn't reach. And I could see him picking up and saying, "Who's this squirt?" And that's when he'd start like Kota would start complaining, and the cats would be like kind of explain to him later that his parents were both heroes and they were gone, so they've like been taking care of him. I could see Deku kind of relating because he didn't have his dad wasn't around, and I could see him kind of like feeling empathy for Kota, you know?
I actually really like that. So that's why Deku would sort of like follow Kota with like the bowl of curry, because he just wants to like talk to him. Yeah,
I could see him relating to this kid.
My bad.
Bless you.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem. And then I like what you're saying here. I think the curry, Bakugo would still be a superior chef. Here's the thing. I think Deku would be kind of annoyed by this, that Bakugo is better than him at something, because he would just break the knife. Like when he's trying to cut stuff, he would just shatter the knife by holding it. Like when he's trying to cut anything, it would just cut right through the board and break the knife. That's what I'm going to say. And so Bakugo would be like, "Here, let me do it." And he'd just grab another knife and would just be easily out-chefing him. And this would be annoying him. So he would just leave and be like, "Fine, maybe you can cook a little. I guess you belong in the kitchen." And he just would walk away.
I guess you belong in the kitchen. That's funny.
Yeah, so I could see that being a funny like interaction between the two of them. And that's when like when the curry's done, and Deku, who had just destroyed everything in the kitchen by this point, would have been just told to sit there. I could see him taking like curry for Kota, so he would go up and find him just because of his superior senses. He doesn't even need to know where his secret hideout is. He can just go and find him just based off of his hearing and his sense, the insane senses from the heavenly restriction. So when he goes and finds Kota and tries to like give him the food, this is when like nightfall hits, and it's gonna be when the villains start attacking.
Would he arrive to see Muscular like there already, or would he have a moment to speak to Kota?
I think that like what would happen is he would have brought the food there, and he would have been talking to Kota, and Kota would have been annoyed, like saying, why do people want to become heroes? And I could see Deku like sitting on the cliffside, like looking out over the horizon and being like, because being a hero is the only thing I know I can do. Like he would be thinking about like the entire path. Like everyone always told him he could never be a hero, that it was nothing. He wasn't able to do it because of his quirk. I could see him saying, like telling Kota, like when I was a kid, no one believed in me. I wanted to prove them wrong. So, and Kota would be like, that's a stupid reason to put your life on the line and to be in danger. And Deku would stand up and just like not grab his head, but like he like put his hand on his head and just pat him and be like, I think you'll understand when you're like one day. So he'd leave. And
dude, I actually love that interaction. Like, unironically, I love what you just did there.
I think it's just really fitting because he's got like this life experience from all that, like the violence he experienced in middle school, and he doesn't want Kota to be like that, but he also understands that like hatred fuels you, so he doesn't want him to hate heroes and become a villain or anything. So I could see like, because Deku here, he's not a bad guy, but he's not a good guy. And I think he'd tell Kota like there's more to being a hero than just saving people. Like it's about proving yourself to everyone around you. It's about like solidifying your position in the world.
That's so sick.
I think it'd be kind of cool. And then when night falls, this would be like when he actually feels nervous for the first time. Like everyone's looking for Kota and all the villains are attacking, and he'd be like, "I'll go get him." And they'd be like, "You can't go. Like we're not permitting you to go." And he would look at Aizawa and be like, and Aizawa would just sigh and would use the telepath scroll ability to let everyone know that they are under his authority, allowed to act. And that's when we get Deku. He's just gone. He's just running through the woods. He's like, Koda, just hold out. I'll be there soon. Like he's like, this is like the most heroic part we get. This is when we get Yusei Run in the background. You know what I mean? That's when we get to Muscular.
That sounded nothing like Yusei Run. I ruined it. I ruined Yusei Run.
Yeah. No, that was definitely nothing like it, but it's fine.
It's okay.
All right, that was kind of cringe.
Okay. Muscular.
But anyway, you guys know what I'm talking about.
How does that go
Muscular and Izuku, okay? So Izuku arrives by the cave, like on the cliffside, and he would see Koda like spraying water, like not spraying water because he doesn't use his quirk willingly. He'd see Koda like getting like talked to by Muscular when he's asking him about if he knows someone named Bakugo. Like he'd be asking about if, you know what? Actually, this is a big change. They would have seen Deku in the sports festival and how much like a villain he is. They'd be asking about both of them because they think he has one for all, and they saw how violent he was. They'd be looking for
they
both
don't
of
even
them.
go after freaking Bakugo, honestly, because like he's like, oh, he's weak. They're going straight after Deku.
So I think like Muscular would be like carrying, like holding him up and saying, "Where's that Izuku Midoriya kid?" And I could see Izuku like walking out onto the stone, being like, "Turn around," and he just turns and then he just punches Muscular in the face, and Muscular would tank it. Here's the thing. Muscular is stronger than the Nomu that we saw in season 1 against All Might. So I think this would be the first time we see Deku getting a challenge. This is going to be the part where he has to actually be a hero. Koda would get dropped and Muscular would smirk looking over. Koda would just be shaking, realizing this is the guy who his parents had taken his eye out and had killed them and had fled. So Muscular would be like traumatizing to him. After that, this is when the real fight gets started. Like Deku would be kind of surprised because he tried to take off Muscular's head with that attack. Like he was trying to put him down, and Muscular would just snap his neck back as more muscles like grow out of his body. So Deku would say, "You're pretty strong." He'd be like, "You're pretty strong, huh?" Muscular would laugh, just like throwing a wind tunnel punch, and it would bash into Deku. Deku would get crunched into the stone wall, and he'd be like, his body would be shaking. He'd be like, "That was a lot of force." And since he doesn't have one for all, like he doesn't even have anything boosting him, so he'd be kind of shook by this. So Muscular is currently around like at the same level, by the way, that we've seen Toji's power display without the speed. So Deku's kind of here at a speed advantage, but is a little bit weaker than him.
Nah.
For reference.
Nah.
I think so.
No way.
With Muscular's full strength, like I think he's gonna have to push himself. That's just me.
It's just the way that I see it is just like to say that is sort of to like, because like think about it this way: Deku just proceeded to straight up
All Might fight.
That discredits the All Might fight entirely.
See, I don't there's a debate on this, on how strong Muscular is compared to All Might. It depends on how literally you take the 1,000,000% line from Deku. Like, I know Deku with all the quirks, like, and Gear Shift blitzes Muscular in the newer seasons. But Muscular wasn't weak.
He's only using 40%.
In the first
when he like beats him up, he's only using like 40%. So
but that was with Fajin too. So
was he using Fajin?
I think he was.
Yeah, I think he was using Fajin red, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
So
you're right.
He was using Mach 120%. So
that's insane. Mach.
Yeah, that's why I'm saying like, no, like it was. That's how strong Muscular is. Like Deku had to use Fajin in the original, so this is the second time. Like I know he speed blitzed and just kind of fodderized him, but Deku with all the quirks is actually kind of powerful compared to like Jujutsu Kaisen. Like he's not gonna go through Infinity or Sukuna's like domain and everything like that. But compared to Toji, who's all physical stats, like this Deku is gonna have to push himself against Muscular. I think his advantage is his speed, because Muscular is so big that he's slow. So I could see him like dodging and weaving these attacks after that first one would have hit him. And he tried putting Muscular on a block, and I could see like the muscles getting on top of him, and Koda just crying, like seeing Deku putting his life on the line. He'd be like, "I thought you weren't going to be a hero to save people. Like, this is what I was talking about. Like, you can't die here." Deku would just like look inside himself and would see the image of everything like getting to this point. And I think like with the motivation from Koda, he'd see himself when he was watching All Might, and he just starts standing up, and just Muscular be like, how is he this strong? Like, how is he getting so strong? And he would rip Muscular off and be like, I'll be my own hero. And he just throw Muscular into the wall, like without one for all, without anything, just with like the pure adrenaline, and would take him out with that same power.
Straight into the wall.
Just punching his lights out. Like that would be it. And Kodo would be shocked. Like he would have like sprayed water. He would have used his quirk. And that's when we get the My Hero moment, you know? And we see like Deku with actual blood and like actually taking injuries for the first time in the series. Right there. That's the first one.
Okay, I can see him like having like a little bit of blood on him. I can definitely see that. That's pretty realistic.
My man is a Toji hype. My man is a Toji Neat Rider, but it's okay. I like it.
Yeah, I'll let it slide.
Anyway, he saves Koda. He takes him back. Muscular is knocked out. Everyone is still looking for Izuku. Like the villains are still looking for him, but he's not going to get abducted, which turn means I don't think All For One's going to reveal himself later.
Yeah, that means that there's not going to be like this. They're not going to be able to capture the common
award.
And like it's like they could
no one's
take
gonna know about
Bakugo instead, but you don't get that scene of Bakugo being the one who like introduces himself, meaning they don't get to see how cocky he is. And at the end, Bakugo's straight up unconscious. Like, they're not trying to get him.
He would not be giving off. Yeah, he would not be giving off enough of the "I will change the world" energy, you know? Like,
yeah, and let's say Mr. Compressed manages to turn Deku into a marble. This man Toji straight up pulls up to people's domain expansions and beats them up inside of it. There is no way
he beats them up inside their own. Yeah.
There's no way that Deku's gonna be staying a marble. Never.
The marble would be cracking.
The
marble
breaking.
would crack from the inside.
Exactly.
Yeah.
He shatters out of that weird, wacky domain thingy-majigger, which basically means that Deku proceeds to just beat him, and then the rest of those villains that were all there, they all get taken out. I think that the only one that actually ends up leaving is Kurogiri.
There's a hero stain?
No.
Twice? Toga?
Bro, all of them, bro. You think that Deku's not going to destroy them?
I want to see the Stain interaction. Come on, tell me about it.
Yeah. So I feel like Deku, after beating him up, realizes that there's more villains, and eventually he would come to where Dabi, Twice, and Stain are at. Because mind you, the crocodile dude and the magma dude, they fight Mandalay and like the wild pussycats, right? So Deku would literally be face to face with the 1-on-3, but mind you, Deku just got a power amp. And it's like, yeah, he's a little bit hurt, but bro, Deku's about to stand on business. What do you think happens here?
I agree. I think the 1-on-3 isn't really going to matter because, for one, with Heavenly Restriction, his senses, he speed blitz most people. Like, even if they have quirks, these are still humans. Like, unless you're All For One or All Might or like you have an insane strength amping quirk like Muscular does, you have very little chance of damaging him. Like most things cannot hurt him. It's not like you have
durability. It's just you're strong.
Yeah. Like you're only as strong as your quirk is. So like Mr. Compress is just a dude that can make shrink things. I think he just takes him. I think he can. I don't think it's even really that tough for him.
Deku would straight up kill the Twice dude. I feel like he would punch him so hard, it's revealed that he's a clone.
That would be what? Like he would get turned into mud?
He punches him into freaking mush.
Wow. Yeah. That's a good way to. So do you just kill Twice? Is the entire War Arc dead? Do you just kill the MHA War Arc?
He's dead, bro. Exactly. And then I could see like Dabi like shooting flames at Deku, but Deku just he's standing in them, bro. And he just turns
got the
to
demon
him.
Eyes.
Yeah, he just turns to him, and he just like rushes in towards the direction of Dabi, just pieces him up, bro.
Do you think Aizawa's helping out? Is he here?
Dude, Aizawa's not there, but it's at this moment that I can see Stain finally like doing something and like shooting the knives and trying to like cut Deku. But bro, Deku's a way better hand-to-hand fighter than Stain. Stain's
100%.
Stain's
but
not going to land up. But this would be some of the
best animation. Like,
it's not
I could see this being some of the best animation fights though. Like, I could see him taking Stain's sword. That'd be so cool,
dude.
Like,
and
he takes his
katana,
katana,
cutting him down with it.
Yeah, that'd be kind of sick.
That would be insane.
I like that.
And then the thing with Twice is he didn't mean to kill him. Like, it's just not his fault that wasn't a real person, and like his blow like straight up nearly killed him. You know?
Yeah.
And Kurogiri, it's like once he sees this, he's just gonna disappear. There's just no world in which Kurogiri
I'm
stays.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Exactly.
Yeah. So that
no
kind of
Kamino
cuts
War.
the whole Kamino arc.
Exactly.
Yeah, there's no Kamino War arc, huh?
But there is a Provisional Heroes license arc, which has no stakes. So it's like, do we even cover it? Like, it genuinely doesn't matter.
I feel like the hero, like you're talking about the exam arc, right?
Yeah, like the little like license exam where they go and they meet all the other schools. There's no stakes.
By the way,
there,
I had
bro.
so much fun. That arc was so fun. I really wish they had fleshed out like the characters in that arc and had made it kind of like tie in later to the war arc. What do you think
liked
about that?
it? Dude, I despise those characters. Bro, those characters, I did not like that arc. I literally hated it.
It was so fun.
I skip it.
It was the
every
first time we saw
videos. I skip it.
You
every
skip
time.
it?
Every chance I get, I never cover this arc.
But the fight between like Deku and all of the other schools jumping him is so fun. Like,
bro, Deku versus all the schools jumping him would be sick because this.
That's what I'm saying. Like this is his time to thrive. He's good at gang fights. Like that's what this. This guy's
okay, look,
good at.
we can cover that one thing. Get down. I'll let you cook because you came up with the idea.
This is when Miss Joke would be like, yes, the crushing of UA, and then everyone would jump out, and Deku would just like he'd grin. He'd be like, oh yeah, now this I'm used to. And he'd just start whipping through the crowd. People would get sent flying. Their scanners would be getting hit. He'd have like a ball in each hand, just physically dodging and weaving and just getting like all 100 of them out in like 5 seconds. He would just like take out everyone who had jumped UA. Like he would have jumped the jumpers. It would be the crushing of everyone else. That's what it would be crazy. Because they can't use their quirks in that close of range. They'd take each other out. Like, there's very little they can do when he's an expert at close hand-to-hand combat and is that fast.
Bro, it'd be like have you seen the Karate Kid? Like where Jackie Chan beats up all the students?
Yeah.
You would
sort
of
be
get
faster
like a
than
scene
that,
like this.
But yeah.
But
pretty
like
much
superhuman and like 100 times more brutal. Think like what would happen if someone tried jumping Mikey from Tokyo Revengers. Like that's exactly what plays down. He would beat them down, dude. Like he would hospitalize so many students, bro. How many do you think he hospitalizes?
Easily like 50, 60. Like
easily.
He would have given concussions to so many people. It would be unfortunate.
Yeah.
I feel mercy. Like I feel like Miss Joke would have that look in her face. She's like the crushing of UA, and like 2 seconds, like it wouldn't even pan back to the fight yet. We just see her face getting like slowly more like, what the heck?
Like when Luffy beat up an army and like it just pans to him defeating them all. He just stands over them. He wouldn't even like use the button to like take them out because he just wants to thin out the competition. He just goes on to beat so many people, dude.
After he finishes, he looks back at the rest of his class. He's like, you guys can take those. I prepped them for you. They're prepped. This is how I cook.
Dude. Yeah. Dude, he would definitely fight Gang Orca. And he would beat him too.
100%.
He would embarrass a pro hero in front of everybody.
Do you think Gang Orca's like hypersonic sound attack would hurt Deku though? Because of his heightened sense of hearing? Yeah, I could see him getting like thrown off by that.
I can
this
see
would be
him like,
when I think like total. Yeah,
dude, I think about it like this: like he's standing there and like the supersonic thing's like shooting at him, and Deku's ears just like they pop, bro. Like there's no way they're not going to, but because he straight up can't hear anymore, and like he's now upset. Yeah. I don't even want to say what happens to Gang Orca, dude.
Do you think
he violates this man?
That is unfortunate.
Oh yeah, and Orca. Also one more thing.
He hears his name. He's like, "Oh, Gang Orca, huh? I'm the real king."
Bro, he destroys them.
That is, yeah.
That's not okay. This man should not be allowed to become a hero.
Totally.
Bro, after this happens, the teachers are 1,000,000% having a meeting where they're like, dude, we cannot give this kid a freaking license. Like, he's hospitalized 100 students, beat up Gang Orca, and he was rude to the people he was saving.
He doesn't need hero training. He needs hero psychotherapy. Like, yeah. They're
like discussing therapy. Throwing him in Tartarus, but Aizawa, like, he uses his quirk and he's like, absolutely not. That kid is a hero. Yeah. Like he starts telling them about how Deku saved everyone in the forest camp, and how and how he's gonna be
just
because
he gets
symbol.
a little rough doesn't mean that he's in it. Yeah, I like it.
Oh, also, there's not going to be any Deku versus Kacchan because Kacchan never gets kidnapped. He doesn't feel inferior, and he's scared of Deku.
I mean, yeah, I think he does feel inferior. I think he doesn't have the balls to say, "Let's go fight in the middle of the night while no one's watching to save my ass."
Well, no one's watching to save me. No one's gonna interfere. No, Bakugo's never gonna do that.
No one's gonna interfere. He's like, that's not happening. He'd be more like, he's just gonna internalize it. He's gonna do what everyone else does in real life, where you take all the bad emotions that you've been feeling all day, you put it in a box and you hide it deep and bury it deep in a forest. You know?
Yeah,
dude. That's what
but
does,
now that we're done with the hero license, now we get into what happens with the big three, like. Dude, when Mirio shows up to the class...
I think Mirio should probably stomp everyone. I'm not going to lie.
Including Deku, bro. And this is the first time that this man is going to get humbled. It's going to be like Gojo versus Toji.
Sukuna the first time? Gojo versus Toji ends in...
it's out
ends
now,
in a little different way.
It's like, that's pretty much what's going to be happening. Like, he gets destroyed, dude.
Yo, he's still
like,
there?
I can't hit this kid. He's just not fast enough. Dude, Mirio was danger sense.
Dude, even then,
there's no way.
Yeah, well, if Mirio's awakened all the other quirks already, he's 100% done. But even then, I could see Deku being frustrated with just the perfection that Mirio has with his phasing ability. Like, he could not physically hit Mirio. Like, his fist would go through him. I could see him just getting worn down. With One For All, Mirio can actually damage him as well, and he can tap into more of One For All. I think it's...
And the scariest thing is, like, final boss Shigaraki wasn't even able to put his hands on Mirio. So, with One For All, no way. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think I think that's pretty much it. Like, I think Mirio's gonna be like Deku's goal. Like, he's gonna be like, I want to be able to beat that guy. Like, that guy's strong.
Yeah, it's kind of
this is what he thought All Might was gonna be like.
Exactly. Yeah. And what happens here is we would pretty much get the overhaul situation, but unfortunately for the story, Mirio, there's no way that Overhaul is gonna ever escape that alleyway. The second that Deku he sees Eri and like he realizes that this dude is clearly hurting this little girl, he's not holding back. And Mirio's not doing that either. He knows he could take him out. So this dude gets literally jumped by the two juggernauts of the series.
Oh my god, he would have danger sense too. Like, Mirio would if he has his quirks and senses it, he'd be like, I can't let her go with him. Like, she's terrified. Like, he would hear, like, he could feel it. I think it's hard to judge because Night Eye originally said don't do anything. But Mirio respects Night Eye a lot.
He respects Night Eye, but it's like, bro, Mirio understands that he could easily take anyone out. Like, there's no way Mirio has doubt that this could even get out of hand, even in the slightest. Deku's there with him, and Mirio knows that this dude Deku's about it, bro. So they straight just beat him and slam him into the wall. Bro, I can see them stuff. Like, I can see Deku stuffing him into a trash can, like a dumpster, bro. Like, he stuffs him in there.
No, not Overhaul.
Bro, I'm so serious.
Overhaul he's cooler than that.
His arm's broken. Overhaul just has that like anime expression where he just got beat up.
The crunched
blood
arms,
all over his face.
Where he has like the eyes, like his eyes are all whited out.
Yup.
But it's so unfortunate though. Let's pretend that they did let it go, and Mirio doesn't have danger sense and all the quirks yet.
Yeah,
and,
he
like,
would
some
have
reality
it
where they go to save him. Well, because he can use quirks and he's better at using his quirk already. So
and not
his
only
One
that,
For All
but he has way better physical stats than Deku did. And like Deku, look at his muscle mass and Mirio. This dude is basically prime All Might.
Oh yeah, I pretty much.
Oh, and speaking of me, hold on, a shameless plug.
Yeah.
Speaking of Mirio,
oh my goodness,
and like having those really cool powers, I'm gonna be dropping a What If Naruto Had Mirio's powers, so go check that out.
You mean What If Naruto Had Kamui version 2?
Nah, I'm gonna rename it the Mirio's powers because I felt bad for the way that I clickbaited everybody.
Okay. Well, back to Mirio. If we did have that situation not happen where Deku just like garbage canned the best villain in the series, I think a really cool scene would be with Eri. When Mirio goes to save Eri and he's about to like let himself get hit by the quirk erasing bullet, Deku would stand in front and just take the bullet, and it wouldn't even like scratch him. Like his durability is so high, like bullets can't really affect him. Like that's how like Toji isn't even really affected by common weapons. So Deku wouldn't even have the bullet scratch him. It would probably like reflect off of him like some Goku shit. And if it did hit him, overall, it'd be like, well, now I got one of them down. And then Deku would just be so fast, he would just speed blitz his quirk anyway. Like, it's just not fair because this Deku is probably around as strong as 40%. I want to say, like, 30 to 40% Deku after the muscular fight. You know what I mean?
I really, really do like that. Bro, I think that we cooked, like, a really, really fire story. And, like, all the stuff that we ended up getting at and, like, the scenarios, they're all sick. Like, they're all really cool. But this is kind of where the story ends, just because if you really start thinking about it, there's no way that that
Mirio just takes Deku's original, yeah.
There's no way that like Shigaraki or One for All or like even any of the Redestro, they're not going to be able to beat either Deku or Mirio, especially
Mirio.
Not Mirio.
Because they're both so powerful in this version. Mm-hmm. So it's like having two All Mights, and one of them has like 10 quirks or.
This dude literally has like 9 quirks. Yeah, 9.
Yeah, because he'd have his own quirk. It'd be insane. I think it'd be just like kind of go over it. I don't think Deku would want to save Shigaraki. I think he probably, like in the original, Deku was like, I want to save him, and then he ends up, dying anyway. Not in this version. It's Mirio and Deku are just straight business. It's not even. Honestly, I think like Mirio and Deku would just be too much at this point. Like in the war arc, Mirio is so powerful that he can just take Deku's place as like taking on All For One's assassins in the army. And Deku is not going to be letting All For One have what he wants. All Might still has the embers of One For All too, because he never fought All For One at Camino Ward. So I think the three of them are just going to be of like a 3-man army. Like regardless of the rest of UA.
Get to that point, bro, because it's like it's kind of Mirio's job to defeat One For All.
All For One.
Yeah,
I think like especially if Shigaraki approached Deku while they were at the mall, like he did originally, like put his fingers around him. You won't even get that far because as soon as he senses, like, because Deku would have Fushiguro, like he would have Toji's senses. He can sense things that you can't even see, which we covered a little earlier. The moment he feels someone moving his hand toward him like that, he's going to grab his wrist. Like, he's going to turn and just grab him by the wrist and be like, what are you doing? Like, I think Shigaraki low-key gets arrested. Like, I could see, he just rips it, like, breaks his wrist. The thing is, he would, but remember that
Stain, he only did that because Stain got more popular because he got arrested. But he doesn't get arrested this time, I remember.
You mean Shigaraki?
Yeah, no, because the only reason that Shigaraki goes to the mall is because he's upset at the popularity that Stain got after being arrested. But if that doesn't happen, Shigaraki isn't frustrated, and therefore he doesn't go to the mall.
Okay, so he doesn't get arrested there.
Exactly.
Anyway, I just thought that was interesting.
Dude, that was interesting. And like, even if that was the case, like let's say that we did do that, there Shigaraki would end. And let's say that Shigaraki gets that crazy power up. Shigaraki has to hit. The main thing that the MyHeroAcademia story has been showing to this point is the fact that Shigaraki can't really do much without his decay quirk. If he can't touch Mirio, it's game over. That's it.
Yeah, Mirio was like a perfect counter. So I think it's kind of over there, and it kind of ends up with almost an unsatisfying ending where Deku kind of gets his get back and becomes, I want to say, like number 2 hero. Probably just overtakes Endeavor in a few years.
The best fight that we could probably get would be like Mirio versus Deku, because like they'll fight every now and then. Yeah, like with Deku like wanting to like beat him, but like eventually sort of just realizing like, like you can't always be the strongest. You know what I mean?
It's kind of sad, but he got achieved his goal. Like he's making he's breaking the bank. He's getting all these deals on TV. I could see him being an actor, a terrible actor, but I could see him doing it for the money. Like,
dude, you know what I can see happening? Like, Deku literally, like, he's his number 2 hero, but he's the reason that villains aren't doing stuff.
Yeah, like,
They're scared
They're
of
not
him.
as afraid of Mirio. They're just worried to be put on a T-shirt by Deku.
Bro, crime rate in the city that Deku's at is like at an all-time low. So he like never even like stays there, and he goes like everywhere else.
I think his hero like on-site office would be in Shinjuku.
Shinjuku?
No reason. Yeah.
Okay.
Just in case anyone, little JJK reference.
Okay.
Little
JJK
bit
reference that I don't understand because I've never seen.
It's
JJK.
okay. It's okay. It's because Shinjuku is where the final showdown between Gojo and Sukuna. Well, not even. Yeah, where Gojo, Sukuna, Yuji, and they all have the final fight there in the JJK manga.
Makes
Which,
sense.
by the way, like, it just ended. How do you feel? Like, since we're kind of at the end of the story, how do you feel about the MHA ending? Because My Hero Academia just ended as well, like in the last month.
I just despised it, dude. Like I'm gonna
8
actually.
years.
I think that realistically, Deku should have passed the quirk just like he did in that one movie to Bakugo and Todoroki. Not the second fight, but the first fight. After realizing that he can't do this alone, he needs help. We've already seen that Deku's capable of doing something like this. Therefore, we take out Shigaraki.
In the 9 movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
We take Shigaraki out, and that's how Deku becomes the greatest hero. But even then, I just didn't like the fact that he became the greatest hero that soon. I feel like there should have been like a time skip in which like heroes kind of had to like
Shippuden would have been so fun.
They had to hide because of the fact that like it got so
that All For
bad.
One.
It got so
that's kind of
bad.
Yeah. It's a little more like Chainsaw Man. If anyone here is interested in something like that, Chainsaw Man has a part 1 and part 2. It's kind of similar with like that time skip feeling because if you're interested, it's pretty cool. But I agree. On my end of things, my personal thought is I don't mind Deku becoming a teacher, but what I really would have liked to see is after like Shigaraki's taken out, we see Deku like holding a piece of hair and saying it's your turn, and like that's how the manga ends. So we don't know what happened. Like we just know he keeps One For All and ended up becoming like All Might, and we get to see like an adult version of him, and then he passes it on to someone else. So One For All is still around. That would have been cool.
That's what
Something
I'm
else
saying,
that I think was unanswered is the quirk singularity theory, where all the quirks are gonna become so powerful. It was just left unanswered. Like they're becoming so strong that people's bodies can't handle it. Like they're going to like the human race is going to go extinct essentially. You remember that?
The final villain should have been somebody like addressing that. Like it should have been someone else who's like they got so powerful they don't want their quirk.
Yeah, like the quirk singularity. Honestly, I think what would have been really cool is if after this time skip that you talked about, if Eri became like more of a central character, and because she can erase people's quirks with the quirk erasing bullets, and we have like her kind of being the main focus, and then like she is a hero in training, like a student, and then Izuku would show up as like the #1 hero, kind of like how All Might did at the USJ, and take on this super powerful guy who's trying to erase quirks from the world, and that would be like the final like mini arc. And kind of passing on the torch to Eri and like the next generation.
Yeah, my whole thing is just like, why doesn't Eri just reverse Deku to when he had his quirk? It's so dumb.
So it was talked about a little bit about vestiges and like how quirks have wills of their own. It's really Horikoshi kind of copied Devil Fruits from One Piece in my opinion, with the whole vestiges thing. Like One For All's soul, like the will of One For All was erased in the original at the end of the original MHA.
That's
I think
lame.
I know. I thought what should happen is all the original quirk, like the 7 quirks he got, should have been taken away. Like he should have those vestiges should have left. But I feel like the original user of One For All with the stockpiling quirk should have stayed, and that would have been what was passed on to like defend the world. That would have been so cool. And then Deku could have not peaked in high school. But that's just me.
Yeah, honestly, like we could literally ramble on about the ending of MHA for like an entire video, like straight up.
Honestly, yeah.
Just hating on it.
But yeah, so if you guys appreciate the two of us just hanging out and chatting about our favorite shows, make sure to go check out the ones we're doing over on Zeller's channel. And if you want more things like this, let me know. We can do more like podcast style like this with just me and Zeller talking about, just like kind of shooting the shit about like what about like an idea. I had a lot of fun with this. Thanks for joining me.
Yeah, I did too, dude. It's a blast. Like it's been like an hour and 44 minutes, but this is just so much easier to make than a full-fledged actual part 1. You have to script it, and you have to make it.
Yeah.
You have to get to like it basically takes the same.
Well, we don't gotta talk about that. I just gotta enjoy talking to my friend about some anime. But
honestly,
I had a good time. Appreciate it. If you guys enjoy this, make sure to hit the like, comment, and subscribe button. You guys already know. And we'll catch you guys in the next video.
Peace.